The many thousands who've gambled their lives in the journey across the Mediterranean come from many places and have different stories. But they all have one thing in common. They were all rescued at sea, and they are enormously grateful.
When they rescued me, I'm very happy, I'm very glad. All my family were very happy. So thank God. Thank God we're happy.
People started crying.
Did they really?
I started crying more.
Because they knew they were going to live?
Yes, they started crying more. I cried too, but being a man, I felt the tears coming, but it was like, oh, finally I'm getting out of here.
As time has passed and the crisis in the Mediterranean has worsened, so the rescue organisations have increased their response, and there are now 10 involved. But far from being the heroes they were portrayed as a couple of years ago, public opinion here has hardened dramatically against them. It's been claimed the rescuers have opened lines of communication with smugglers. More broadly, critics accuse the rescue boats of acting as a taxi service, and the more rights people get, the more money for the rescuers.
It's more an economic interest, an altruism. There are different groups involved in getting them here.
We have to find a solution that doesn't involve business, getting them to come here in order to make money.
The Italian government went as far as holding an inquiry into the allegations of collusion between the search and rescue ships and the smuggling gangs, only to find absolutely no evidence of it. In the meantime, though, much of Italian society seems to have made its mind up that the aid agencies are now part of the problem rather than the solution. All of which creates the extraordinary situation in which groups which need public support to exist and regard their work as morally spotless have found themselves having to defend their own reputations.
The stories that we hear from people on board the Aquarius are really horrific. And this kind of situation pushes people, actually pushes them to step into these very dangerous rubber boats. And when we pick them up from sea, it's not like it's a voluntary act, like calling a taxi at all. It's a question of life and death. If we were not there to save them, they would certainly drown.
Some smaller organisations have reported seeing donations drop as the mood has soured, pointing out that this is more like an ambulance than a taxi seems to be a failing argument. Saving people's lives has, it seems, become a controversial enterprise. Laurence, Al Jazeera, Catania, Sicily.